So, my name is Hakeem Reed, and this is my project on malaria. So, let's get started. Intro into malaria. So, what is malaria? Malaria is a serious and sometimes fatal disease caused by a parasite in, that commonly infects a certain type of mosquito which feeds on humans. Um, It is also an intermittent and remittent fever caused by a protozoan parasite that invades the red blood cells. Parasite is transmitted by mosquitoes in many tropical and subtropical regions. Symptoms: chills, fatigue, fever, night sweats, shivering, sweating, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. It's like basically like flu-like symptoms. There's actually a lot more, but like I couldn't like fit all of it on here. I didn't want to take up like 2 slides, but yeah, there's um there's loss of breath, there's headaches, there's tingling, there's numbness, there's a lot of stuff. Malaria is really bad. All right, there are four main parasites. You have Plasmodium falciparum. That's the main one. You have the P stands for Plasmodium. All of them are Plasmodium, but P is just what scientists called them to shorten it down. So you have Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malaria. Malaria. Um, Plasmodium falciparum is the type of malaria that is most likely to result in severe infections, and if not promptly treated, may lead to death. So this one is like the main cause of it all. Like this one's like the most deadliest parasite. Okay, so although malaria can be a deadly disease, illness and death from malaria can usually be prevented. About 2,000 cases of malaria are diagnosed in the United States each year. The vast majority of cases in the United States are in travelers and immigrants returning from parts of the world where malaria transmission occurs, including sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. Globally, the World Health Organization estimates that in 2018, 228 million clinical cases of malaria occurred, and about 405,000 people died of malaria, most of them children in Africa. Because malaria causes so much illness and death, the disease is a great drain on many national economies. Since many countries with malaria are already among the poorer nations, disease maintains a vicious cycle of disease and poverty. And just to speak on that a little bit, it's also in like richer nations, it's here, like we have a case of malaria, but like since we're like our like doctors and our healthcare and like the CDC and the FDC and like we have all these organizations that like we have like the equipment to like come up with like diseases like the cures for it, and not a lot of countries have. So like those are the most hard hit countries, not just Africa, but there are like some other countries that have it too. Like Iran had it. Like basically everywhere had it pretty much. So it's kind of like the coronavirus, but like not spreading that fast. Deeper into malaria. So this is the mosquito that just a picture of the mosquito right here that carries the disease right here. Usually okay, a lot of mosquitoes carry disease, but this is just the most common one. Okay, usually people get malaria by being bitten by an infected female anoph- Anopheles mosquito. Only Anopheles mosquitoes can transmit malaria, and they must have been infected through a previous blood meal and taken from an infected person. So how this works is basically the mosquito bites you. Like if you get bit by a mosquito, like you have to worry because if it bit someone else or if that's like the first mosquito. So that's like why it's always good to kill mosquitoes. Like if you see mosquitoes, try to kill it because You don't know if that mosquito has bit someone else and just bit you, because then you could be infected with malaria, or it bit you and it's going to bite someone else. So you can prevent malaria, and you can like stop it from getting to someone else. But yeah, this so how it works is this mosquito bites you. The female mosquito bites you. It sucks you. It gets the little blood stuff and the little let me see, pointer or something. Little right here where my mouse is, the blood is in here. That's where the blood comes from. And then like um after like a week later, after like she goes to another person and like she saw the blood, and like the blood that she already has mixes with the blood from the new person, and like that could like offset the red blood cells, because new blood, it's like a basically an improper blood transfusion by an insect. So like that's like bad, and you don't know what insect's been. So it's like the two blood flows mix, and it just doesn't mix out. The body does not take it well, and that's malaria right there. See right here, when a mosquito bites an infected person, a small amount of blood is taken, which contains microscopic malaria parasites. About a week later, when the mosquito takes its next blood meal, these parasites mix with the mosquito's saliva and are injected into the person being bitten, and that leads to malaria. Because the malaria parasite is found in the red blood cells of the infected person, malaria can also be transmitted through blood transfusion, organ transplant, or shared use of needles or syringes contaminated with blood. So if you like don't, if you go to the doctor and you don't, and you see them use the same needle, don't let them do that, because I don't think a doctor would do that, but just to make sure, like you don't want to do that. So don't share needles. Anything with blood on it, you gotta wash it off. Malaria may have Malaria may also be transmitted from a mother to her unborn infant before or during delivery. It's called congenital malaria. So it's very rare. I looked it up. It is very rare that happens. But if the mother is infected, that's why pregnant women like they don't. That's why people always say there was like a thing, I think in like 2017, where like pregnant women was like there was a lot of them getting bit by mosquitoes, and like a whole bunch of babies were getting infected with malaria. So like it was really bad. Is it contagious? No, malaria is not. This is not spread from person to person like a cold or the flu, and it cannot be sexually transmitted. You cannot get malaria from casual contact with malaria infected people, such as sitting next to someone who has malaria. So so if someone has malaria and they cough on you, you're not gonna get malaria. You're just gonna get germs from them, because you shouldn't cough on anybody. That's bad. But so it's not contagious. So, but I wouldn't be around someone. I wouldn't like push it to the limit though, and just be like, oh, he has malaria. That's too bad. I wouldn't do that. But if you are and you don't know, you probably won't get it, because it's not contagious. So it's not like you touch them, you automatically get it. It's not. It's not like that. It's not like the coronavirus. Coronavirus is contagious. All right, section 3, conclusion to malaria. Okay, who is at risk? Anyone can get malaria. So like whatever you do, you can still get it. Like young babies, old people, young people, teenagers, everyone. Most cases occur in people who live in countries with malaria transmission. People from countries with no malaria can be infected when they do travel to countries with malaria, or through a blood transfusion. Also, this is very rare. So yeah, like proper blood transfusions, it's very rare to get malaria, but it can still happen. Also, an infected mother can transmit malaria to her infant before or during birth, during delivery. All right, and these are just my resources. Got it from a CDC. What I got most of this information from CDC website, which is the first one, and the second one is from my book. And yeah, that's the end of my. Well, that's not the end, but like that's the end of this part of the project. Yeah, shout out to this company right here. They make amazing stuff. You should definitely try to use them. Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of this section of the presentation.